How's it, local Swell trackers? Aloha. This is Sunday, the 17th, and here's the upper level winds. The river of winds, 35,000 feet up where the airlines fly, known as the jet stream. And it helps to spawn surface lows and steer them once they're alive and moving our way. Here we are down here at about 160 west and about 20 north, Hawaii. And this setup, the southern branch of the jet stream, split because of the high pressures that have been dominating for this time of year and bouncing that thing up into the Bering Sea, the western Aleutians or eastern Aleutians. This setup has lasted forever. Here's the dateline at 180, about 1,200 miles to the northwest of us, and that's about where the jet stream's been nosing to for many weeks. And it's led to a lot of, that record-breaking north swell that did in fact reach heights of 60, 70, possibly even 80 feet. The Hanalei buoy, man, was 38 feet, 14, 15 seconds. You times that by 2.5. What are we looking at? Some misto reef that we've never seen. Anyway, back to today. The jet streamless setup is leading to some weather, a lot of north winds, a lot of north swells, and I'll get to that in a second. Man, did we have some. So you see the winds coming off of Japan here. They're pretty good. They're 180-ish, and these lighter brown winds you see here at about 100 miles an hour. Those don't work a lot of magic in terms of swell, but they can lead to some weather. So we'll advance these a little bit as we go to Tuesday. You can see by Wednesday the jet actually is trying to overcome the high pressures just for a brief spell, and then let me go back here, and then it looks to strengthen again off of Japan here towards the 22nd, and the jet stream, the southern branch, is gaining more energy down by Hawaii. So it's going to be an interesting week of weather. Sunday the 24th, a week out from today. Jet's pretty fat. It's getting it's nosing out a little bit further past the date line, and we're hoping for a low to come off of here, which the models are claiming. The problem is there's still enough high pressure to the north and northeast of us to take the storms and send them up further away from us. We need them to get about 1,000 miles off. We want some of those really big ones. I'm going to go back to last weekend and just to take a look at that storm that brought record level surf. So here we are, moving these things forward. Sent a lot of its energy away from us, but it started off northwest, and there was plenty of north in there as well. The main thing was how close it was, and we had some really powerful winds, and again some seas approaching 40 feet at its peak. That's the culprit. Okay, now we're going to take a look at some of our surface winds, and we're bringing this thing current. Here we are, smack dab in the middle of the Pacific, the most geographically populated landmass on the planet. So there's the big high pressure, about a 1040 far northeast, about a 1035 over here. We've got some troughiness in the area here, but wanted to point out this swell that's racing up into the western Aleutians. This is the storm that's going to be bringing us up here today to 5, maybe 6 feet from the northwest, and it'll begin to dissipate on Monday. But we'll get some 6-footers out of this through tomorrow, Monday, and then it'll begin to fade pretty quick, and then we're going to be very relative quiet period. Let's go back here and take a look at this guy. See, he's close by too, hanging out here. Storms have been nearby thanks to that southern split in the jet, and the pressure gradient between that low and the highs have ramped up the winds between the highs, the high and the low. And we heard of 15-foot sets at the peak along the windward side, spots we can't talk about, and Sandy Beach we can, 6 to 8 feet there on Saturday, all thanks to this guy right here. So that is moving west, or whether it's going to try to normalize briefly, but we've got off and on sketchy conditions, but we are heading into a pattern change. I'll get to that in a second. Continuing on the animations, you can see a long quiet period, high pressures really dominant. Here's the next swell. This is for Thursday the 21st, races up into the western Aleutians, into the Bering Sea. We're expecting some 15-second northwest swell out of this, filling in later Monday the 25th, peaking 5 to 7 hopefully on Tuesday the 26th, but it's going to be fading pretty quick because again it goes out of our swell window. We like these storms to have a captured fetch. This has just about the opposite. I'm sure you've noticed down here tracking north, bringing huge waves off to the Philippines and Taiwan, etc. We'll get to that, but I want to take a look at the North Pacific right now and continuing these loops. Big high pressure moving in Tuesday the 26th, so it'll be very interesting to see what it does. Again, this is just a model run, but it looks like it's going to fade out, not bring us much. Might bring us a little bit of a west swell, but these are a long ways out. Okay, now we're looking at the swells produced by the surface winds we were looking at. This is a little prettier, a little easier to see. Here's the swell going back from last weekend, and we'll take a look at the giant swell producer. These models, based on the Global Forecasting System, or GFS, the European models actually track this thing properly about 100 to 200 miles to our east. That low did not hit us. This is going back now Tuesday and moving these in further. As you can see, Wednesday the 13th, we have just been pumping with swell. And here we again increased for Saturday. This did lead to 8 to 12, occasional 15 at select spots, 8 to 12 at Makapu'u, this culprit right here. This low off of California sent in some longer period for today's Sunday. And you can see this thing moving west. We're going to have continued swell Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but it will be overall fading. Bringing the animations back to Wednesday the 13th. This system up here, not tracking optimally, but what a beefcake, man. There's some huge 45-foot seas. If this thing was tracking towards us, 20, 25-foot swell. It's tracking away from us. We get a little bit of fetch on its southwest flank. This is from Thursday the 14th. 3 to 4 days travel time. We're looking at the swell that hit today, Sunday, up to 6 feet, through tomorrow maybe 7, but conditions just tattered and torn because the northeast swells crossed up. This low pressure off of the west coast did add a longer period northeast swell today. Here's the locally generated northeast swell. Continuing on the animations, you can see we go into a quiet period from Monday the 18th. More north swell. This little guy over here trying to add some support, but not much. And then we go into another quiet period. And here's a low pressure with a poor track and weaker winds. This is Friday the 22nd. We could see some 3 to 5 footers out of this one. And that would be about Tuesday. A decent length of fetch. It is hitting the date line here at this point, Saturday the 23rd. We have to tack on some days. And again, we're looking for an increase Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 to 5, maybe 6 if we're lucky. Let's go ahead and start the animation. See the new track away from the Philippines, which is good news. It's just going to be a nice swell producer staying fairly far away. But somewhere along all those islands, there's going to be some misty spots getting up 20, possibly 30 feet. Okay, taking a look at the swell periods. They're sweeping through. Here we are right here. We had some 18-second forerunners due to the high winds of that one storm I was pointing out 3 or 4 days ago. It will be moving through and will be overwhelmed by the northeast swell, sending out its swell trains. And here's those systems heading off into the Bering Sea, trying to push out some waves a week from this Tuesday. But these don't go out quite that far. We'll take a look here at Sunday the 24th, and this is about 2 days off here. So we're below seasonal averages for the next couple weeks, and we'll see if March can take exception to that. Okay, let's take a look at the South Pack. We've got swells going the wrong way down under, starting these up. It's just really weak right now. Nothing's going on. A little bit of Tasman Sea swell tracking the wrong way. Going back to last Friday, you could see Cyclone Oma near Vanuatu and tracking down. Bizarre system. We're going to be bringing insane waves over to the east coast of Australia. And this system right here, this is Sunday the 17th. That'll be bringing us up to maybe 2 feet next Sunday, the 24th. Most likely Monday, the 25th. Now, these models will go out 7 days. Here's what we were just looking at. Forwarding these, you can see that storm. Wow, just clipping. Of course, this is the GFS. They vary slightly from the European models, but that is a big storm. That's going to be bringing some huge waves to the east coast and just clipping these islands. Not sure if we're going to get much surf from this. It's going to get shadowed, but it's a big one. Take a look. Maybe from this point, it almost looks like a Tasman Sea swell, but it came from the opposite way. Here's a normal southwest swell trying to make its way up. This is Saturday the 23rd, and we'll see if there's enough fetch on that to bring us some southwest swell early March. Right now, models are suggesting 2-foot surf from the southwest, and that would be, once again, Friday, March 1st, and lasting a few days. Okay, taking a look at the swell periods down under, most of the energy clearly sweeping down from the northwest, from these northeast swells and northwest swells. A lot of the fetches are passing us to the southeast as these show. But we're going to go ahead and roll these. And here comes those north swells and a little bit of that energy from Oma right there. A little bit of that Tasman sea swell here. A little bit of south swell trying to make its way up here. All just 2-foot stuff, maybe 2.5 if we're lucky. But we kind of got away with it this whole winter. We never went mill pond flat. We had enough surf to ride most every day all winter in town. Take a look at the hand-drawn surface charts. There's that low pressure helping with our waves. There's its associated trough leading to instability in the area. On the west side of that low pressure, we have the north winds. On the other side of it, lighter winds southeast. The low, again, tracking west. So we're going to have the trades cut. We are moving into a pattern change thanks to the track of that low pressure. The high pressure up here at 1040 millibars help create that pressure gradient between these two systems and lead to some severe northeast swell. High pressures are staying put. As you can see, a pair of them here. There's that low pressure tracking to the northeast. This helped to keep the North Shore alive from the northwest. The brown areas are showing the drier sinking air. A lot of weather thanks to the low pressure above us. The intertropical convergence zone is flaring up off to the east, but this is showing a lot more stability than you would think with that nearby low. Here we are situated down here. There's that plume coming up from that deep tropical moisture. Locally breezy, wet northerly flow remains in place, especially for the western half of the state. Drier conditions, lighter variable winds setting up for the east side, Big Island, Maui. That surface low we've been showing roughly 250 miles north of the Big Island, responsible for these contrasting weather patterns. That moist northerly flow with plenty of rain, slightly unstable, light and variable wind regime is in place for the Big Island. That'll push over to Maui today. We're in a transition period, making the end of that recent extended spell of breezy, cold conditions. That surface low, as I was pointing to, moving west. Pretty cool feature here. You can see the winds coming down, counterclockwise flow here to our northwest. By the way, that plume could linger, but conditions gradually improving. And by the way, we do have a high surf warning because of this flow you're seeing here for the windward shorelines. Highs are mid-70s, lows mid-60s or lower, depending on if you're in Wahiawa or Mililani, and of course, Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, Haleakala, snow time. And you can see that popcorn heading down over the islands from the north. The wind's going to be veering to the southeast, which is going to make much better conditions for the North Shore on Monday. But again, crossed up northeast swell mixing with the northwest. Still better than it's been, for sure. And the Buffalo Big Board Surfing Classic likely to continue through President's Day with plenty swell, plenty directions, plenty fun. And the reflective loop showing plenty rain as well. Okay, taking a look at windy.com. Low pressure right here to our north. Drilling in, it makes it a lot more obvious why we've seen such big waves. Again, moving to the west. Really strong winds on this side of it. And a lot weaker, winds getting pulled up on the other side of it. And here are these storms, most of them all coming off of Japan and bouncing up over the high pressures. As you can see, there's two eyeballs, centers of these high pressures. The cause of that, taking a look at Oma down here, moving these forward through time. You can see that track veers down for Oma, and we'll see if we get a little bit of spinner coming over here. There's the low starting to send most of its energy far off to our west. Southwest. We're in quite a bit of a quiet period. Strong trade wind flows are still going to be sticking around, even though the winds are going to be relatively light. And then things start to beef up again Thursday morning with storms off of Japan, but again getting bounced up to the northeast a little bit too soon to maximize the size of that storm. And that's your local swell tracker. I'll be back next weekend. Thanks for clicking in here. Thank you so much for your support of our sponsors as well. Aloha.